Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lawyering Outside the Lines. Last week, we talked about ethical considerations when practicing in an entirely or partially virtual law firm world. Brooke and I speak a lot about virtual law firms, and that's because that's what we are and what we've been for almost 6 years now. We get a few naysayers, and I think those are traditionally people who don't accept change very easily, but we get more people who are very interested in learning how we do what we do. And there are usually a lot of questions about practicality. So today we're going to talk about 3 frequently asked questions that we get.
Yes, and so the first thing we're going to talk about is communication. How we communicate. We get asked about that a lot. There's a traditional way of doing things, and we're obviously a little non-conventional. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how we're set up. So after our initial consultation, we here at MBL, we communicate with our clients entirely online. And our initial consultation is a video chat or a phone call. And I will say, we say video chat, but people always want a phone call. But many people are curious and even kind of skeptical about getting our clients to ask questions, answer questions, and share information in that way. And so to kind of put your minds at ease, we use a secure client portal with our practice management system. So if you're using a practice management system, you more than likely have a client portal embedded within that. And so our booking and billing software are there to communicate. We also set strong expectations for communication upfront in the consultation call, or again, video. I'll laugh. But anyways, I do like to do video with my business clients a lot of times because there's multiple owners, and that's difficult when you have more than 2 people on a phone call. So we do it. We do offer. But also in our engagement agreement. So our engagement agreement, also you probably heard of it as maybe, or use it as a retainer agreement. That might be what you refer to it as, but it's extremely detailed. And so more so even than when either of us practice in a traditional manner. And if any of you are practicing in a traditional manner, it's probably the same for you. So one of those details is that we require our clients to initial next to pertinent paragraphs that are different than in a traditional attorney-client relationship, including for communication. We put that in our agreement as well. So the client has to actually read and or at least acknowledge that they have read an initial that they will solely communicate with their attorney through the secure portal. And we get people all the time that say, oh, my clients will do that, or how do you enforce that? So we don't necessarily have penalties for those people who stray away from the communication method that we prefer, but we do utilize tactics and techniques to kind of help get them back on track. It's rare that it happens, but occasionally we'll have a client maybe email us directly or even ask for a follow-up phone conversation. And so those who actually email us, we copy that email and respond to it inside of their client portal, kind of as a gentle nudge, a little reminder that this is the platform we use to communicate. This is where you're going to get quicker responses. This is where we are. It's secure. It hasn't happened that it continues more than twice with the same client, so that's good. We've obviously been successful in our redirecting efforts. But for those who want a phone conversation, it's kind of up to our discretion. But we do require a new contract addendum that adds on phone calls for an extra fee. For instance, Laura does family law, and so it happens more frequently with Laura as far as follow-ups. But depending on the circumstances of the situation, she may have to do an addendum to have them have that extra call or extra coaching session or whatever it is. So our flat fees are for very strict boundaries, and if those boundaries are bent for one, then they break very easily. So we encourage you to set those boundaries, and we teach our clients how to interact with us, how to communicate with us. We do that in life with any of our interpersonal relationships, but it's really important for your sanity and for efficiency within your firm to set those boundaries and stick to those boundaries and communicate very clearly.
So the second question that we get asked on a regular basis is about volume. Because of the way that we're set up is not only just a virtual law firm, but also limited scope representation, we get that question that relates to, do we need volume to make money off of our type of practice? And yeah, we do. I mean, that's true. But most attorneys do. Most solo and small law firms don't necessarily turn clients away when they walk in the door because they're too busy. For a traditional practice, taking on a new client is very different than for a virtual law firm, and especially a limited scope law firm. And if you see me getting distracted, it's because my dog has decided that now is the time to want to do everything right in front of me. So he gets very confused when I'm talking to someone who's not there. So it happens. So with a traditional law firm, they're taking on that client for a potentially long haul representation where the attorney might have a general idea of the time commitment that they are going to spend on that particular case. But that's subject to opposing counsel, opposing party, twists and turns of either litigation or transactional life cycle of their cases. With the MyVirtual.Lawyer model, we are finite service. We're a finite service for representation. With the exception of our subscription clients, that's more long-term, our representation is very straightforward and very short-term. It makes for easier turnaround, turnover, and complete understanding of our duties and responsibilities and time commitment that we're going to be having. So if we take on 15 new clients in a week, we know what that's going to look like and what that time commitment is going to be, as opposed to if a traditional law firm takes on those 15 clients, then it might be something that 2 of them last for 6 months, 4 of them last for 2 years, that kind of thing. So yes, we need the volume. Everybody kind of wants volume, unless you're just, fancy and making bank on other things. But that's kind of what volume looks like for us. Is very different than what volume looks like for a traditional practice.
Exactly. You're being distracted by your dog, and I don't know what they're doing outside. It sounds like they're bulldozing all of my neighbors. Who's out there, but it's very loud and distracting. But next we're going to talk about money. So if I'm startled, because I've been startled 3 times now, that's what's happening. But along with the volume, we also get asked about money. And we think it's because it's kind of a unique idea for so many attorneys to practice entirely in a virtual law firm and limited scope representation environment. So it can be kind of hard to wrap their heads around the income idea, the income side of things. And so I remember in law school that one of our professors said, whenever, although we didn't learn a whole lot about how to set fees and what that looked like, one of our professors had been in practice prior and said, when you're thinking about setting your retainers, make sure that you set your retainer high enough that you're comfortable with that being all that you get for the duration of the representation. And that did prove true when I was practicing traditionally. So, you're on the hook for it in a traditional setting if you, unless there are extenuating circumstances. So, you may have to expect that that's all the money you're going to collect for the duration of, your representation, or you're going to become a bill collector and chase these people down. So first way we combat that is our fees are transparent to our clients. We have them listed on our website. They're non-negotiable. And so we have gotten pushback a little bit from other attorneys about publishing our prices, but really it should not be a secret. And again, like Laura said, the way that we practice, we know exactly what to expect. So it's not like we have to modify each case. And so the clients actually understand exactly what they're going to pay to hire us up front. And that also puts them at ease. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm hiring somebody, whether it's for a service or whatever, I want to know how much I'm going to pay up front. It's very difficult to budget. And I don't think people really want to shaft us on money. I just think that it happens because, they aren't either realistic or don't fully understand how much it costs. And, even though our time is valuable, we know that we're putting the effort in. If you are transparent and put that up front, you're able to, manage those client expectations, have happier clients, and also collect your money. So as a result of the way that we practice in almost 6 years that we've been in business, we have never had an outstanding balance or an unpaid client fee. And this is not because we've only had 2 clients. We've had plenty of clients. It is because, of the way that we are transparent, the payment plans that we offer, the, fees that we set, and the way we work with our clients. And so another thing that I was asked, this is early on, I haven't been asked this in a while, but what's this, is this like a hobby for us? This is our full-time gig, both of us. And so just like with anything, we put the work in and reap the benefits of our pocketbooks and our mental health. And so this is definitely a model that is profitable. This is a model that is definitely workable. It's beneficial to you as the attorney, and it's also beneficial to the client.
So thank you guys for joining us. Just to wrap up a little bit, we talked today about some frequently asked questions that we get about how we function and how to function as a virtual law firm, limited scope representation. But, we're talking largely about the virtual law firm world. And, so we talked a little bit about money, volume, and about communication. Those are some of the frequently asked questions that we get. So thank you for joining us today. And we will be here next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my notes or anything. So you guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy September. I don't know about everyone else, but here in Arkansas, we're starting to hopefully get some cooler temperatures and fall-like weather, which I'm super excited about. And thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.